Beautiful friends, welcome. I'm Anna, Alchemist of the Arts. This is going to be another pick a card reading, and the theme of this reading is advice for what is next on your path. This is around the end of this eclipse season in September 2025. However, you can look at this as timeless guidance for when you need it the most. Whatever changes are occurring in our lives right now, these energies initiate, they change, they bring to light, they bring to the surface. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be completed in a very short time frame. With these energies, it means something new is starting, coming to light, shifting, changing. And this reading, the purpose of it, because I mean, I did put it out to some of you, what would you like me to read on? I think the best and most useful reading I can offer right now is the guidance you need for personal growth through these changes. What advice do you need to work with what is changing in your life? And that is what I'm going to focus on. So this is the guidance you need to hear right now to help you move forwards. And again, this is not about, wow, this terrible thing's going to happen. That isn't the way I read. I want to give you the messages that come through to help empower and shift you in the ways that can help you so that you can remember your own strength in whatever is going on, and not just, oh, this thing's happening, I can't change that, I can't affect that, this is all up to everyone else. Now, again, this present eclipse that we're having today, tomorrow, is in Virgo. And Virgo is a very practical, grounded energy, organized, strategic, will get things done. So we're gonna get my words out. We're gonna tap into that, and we're gonna focus on what it is that you do. This is about your personal power, your personal strengths, and what you can do to move forwards. So we have 3 piles here today. As ever, there's a few oracle cards here, and then I've got a few different tarot decks. I'm very intuitively led as to which one I use, which one I work with, but we'll go through the piles for you. We have pile number 1 here, and we have this beautiful piece of citrine. Very good for magnetizing, attracting, increase, growth, wealth, abundance, manifestation. For pile number 2, we have the amethyst point. And this one is, amethyst is all about psychic protection, attunement, connecting to the higher planes, receiving messages of intuition, messages from our spirit guides, whilst also being very, very protective. So that's pile number 2. And pile number 3 here is the rose quartz. So we have this rose quartz heart. This is all about loving energy, whether that is self-love, romantic love, bringing more love into a particularly challenging situation. This is the crystal or a crystal that can help us to open, to embrace and receive love, to give love, to open ourselves to love once again if we've been closed off. So that is pile number 3. Now, as ever, I will put the timestamps in the description box below, so feel free to take as long as you need. Pause the video if you need to. Take a deep breath with me now. And allow your intuition to guide you. Whichever pile you feel most drawn to, you might feel drawn to more than one. And do remember that the messages within a pile, not all of them might be for you. There might be one thing that you need to hear that is like, yes, that was the thing, that was the confirmation, that was the message. Conversely, sometimes you're drawn to all of them, and there might be messages for you in all piles. So trust your intuition, trust your guidance. And as always, if you don't like it, don't take it. You don't have to. You have free will, and you have a lot of personal power. So I'm going to leave this here, and I will see you in your readings. Hi there, pile number 1. If you were drawn to this pile, then this is your reading. Interestingly, I hadn't moved the cards, and I've just kicked the table. Great start. Maybe you feel like you have been trying to manifest something, create something, achieve something, and it hasn't got off to the best start. Maybe it has felt like a lot of false start energy. You try, things haven't quite worked out, things haven't quite gone to plan. Maybe you feel clumsy, I think is the word and phrase, seeing as I managed to kick my table again. So perhaps this is about how to attune yourself more clearly to what it is that you want to change, create, attract within your life, especially as we have the citrine here. We'll see what your reading has to say. Let's get your oracle cards. We have Comet Moth, Shadow Work, Crow and Dogwood, Intelligence, Relax the Hold of Darkness and Be at Cause. Interesting. Unknown territory, you are exactly where you need to be. Okay. Well, these are really interesting and also very much say a message, tell a message. Tell a story, I meant to say. But yeah, apparently I've lost the ability to speak and communicate with this pile. I'm getting the feeling here that perhaps you do your shadow work and you have been working very, very hard on yourself, but there is still this feeling of, why hasn't this thing happened? Why hasn't this thing changed? Why is this still going on? Feeling of frustration, restriction perhaps. Now, moths are as beautiful as butterflies in so many ways, and yet they're not treated with the same reverence at all. They go through the same processes, and yet nobody talks about, the beautiful transformation of a moth. It is just the transformation of a butterfly. This could be about loving the parts of yourself where things haven't worked out, and relax at the hold of darkness and be at cause. This is really saying there is possibly a situation that has come to light, maybe through this eclipse season, maybe over a longer period of time, where something hasn't worked out and maybe you beat yourself up or blame yourself for it. Maybe you have internalized that experience means this is never going to happen, or you're not going to get to where you want to go. And what I'm getting here with intelligence is actually two messages. The first being that maybe you bring yourself back to your mental energy, and actually, especially if you're working on some kind of manifestation or controlling your thoughts, whether that's from a psychological or spiritual perspective, maybe you bring yourself back to your mental energy where you either overthink or try to control what you're thinking. And again, bringing that mental energy maybe pulls you away from the physical energy of the body, where actually you might need to sit with how you're feeling for a little while. And that can be really, really uncomfortable. But with this, where you're exactly where you need to be, right now, in this moment, there is something that hasn't worked out or hasn't been working in your life. And it is only going to help you to grow. It is not a sign that you are not going to get where you want to be. It is a sign that you are connecting more deeply with the parts of yourself that have been telling you a story that you are not going to get what you want, that are needing your attention in order so that you can fully unfold and go to the place that you want to get to arrive at your destination. Although I will always say, any specific goal, it is not the end of, it's a destination, but think of it as a train journey or something. It's just one stop along that way. This one thing that you've been fixated on, maybe it's a specific goal, achievement. For some, I keep getting weight loss, but for others, it might be, it could be something physique related. It could be something romantic, romantic relationship related, especially if you're having similar repeating experiences. It could be something career related, success related, where you keep trying and the results aren't coming. I think that's the overarching theme here. You keep trying and it isn't happening. And what you're being asked to do is just to take a step back and to take a pause, because there is something that is going to come to light, a deep truth from within you. And it's the story that you have been telling has been holding you back. And now it's time to release that, to really go into the body, into the emotions, away from just the mind, and allow this emotion, this energy that has kept you feeling stuck at a level that is, we can really get deep into this with, childhood experiences and things like that. At this level, when you really, really breathe into it and into your body and feel where this challenge is, where this blockage is, where this restriction comes from, where the story is attached to it, or what hasn't been working, when you begin to unpick that, you're going to find the answers within you. It's very, very interesting. Now I'm going to use the, when I can get it without, there we go, we're going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot today. She says, but I have the Dreams of Gaia Tarot looking at me like, excuse me? Okay, all right. Okay, we've shuffled those, but the Dreams of Gaia want like 2 cards, I think. And this one I do shuffle in the reverse. With the Wild Unknown I don't. It really depends on the deck, interestingly. And sometimes with the different decks you can be guided. A majority of the time I find if a card wants to reverse itself, it will. But it also doesn't mean it's not the end of the world. So let's just get really clear with this one for a second. Something that wants to be revealed, something that wants to be healed. Something that wants to be revealed, please. That's an awful lot. Okay, we'll honour it. Something that wants to be healed, please. Okay, let's get these. Something that wants to be revealed. Yeah. At the bottom of the deck. Yes, okay. And something that wants to be healed. Well, these two work together quite nicely. It's about bringing yourself into alignment, number one, but also recognizing, as I said previously, the intuitive message I was getting before I'd even flipped the cards. It's like, where have you been telling yourself this isn't going to work, it isn't going to happen, it's not going to come together, you can't have, you can't do? Because what we have here is somebody, the only card that came out in the upright on this side is the love card. And what we have is this 9 of water, knowledge and faith, all in the reverse. And I feel like this is a recognition that you have so much to give. You are aware of when things feel in alignment. You are aware of how that feels within your body. But what we've got here is this feeling, this message of, okay, but it hasn't happened. You have this energy to give. You're aware of it. You're aware of how it feels. But the doubt here is the doubt in the faith and the knowledge. And I think this comes down to a lack of self-belief, that maybe you do not have the skills or the ability, the offering to share with others. Maybe you think people aren't going to be interested, they're not going to listen, they're not going to be open to receive. And yet you are being very intuitively guided. And you do have this experience of the sensation of when things are aligned for you. You feel that. I truly believe that if you have been drawn to this pole, then you do feel that, especially through your heart center. And it can just be that warm, fuzzy feeling or whatever it is for you. I don't mean to diminish your experience by simplifying it, but you will be aware of that sensation when something feels in alignment, and then it feels like you get this, maybe it's rejection, maybe it's self-rejection, maybe it's doubt because we've got faith in the reverse, maybe it's thinking you're not enough because we've got knowledge in the reverse, maybe it's feeling you're not worthy because we've got the 9 of water in the reverse. And you are. You can give love, but are you feeling like you're worthy of receiving what it is that you have been asking for? That is the thing that needs to be revealed. The thing that needs to be healed is that, we've got the 6 of fire here, which would be the 6 of wands, desire in the reverse, and then we've got the counselor. Again, what needs to be healed? You sense, okay, no. When you start getting close, to what it is that you wanted, maybe it's achieving a goal or dream or a desire, one of the two things, when you start getting close to it, you might reject it. And this could be really subconscious. It could be like, oh no, okay, no. That's too much. This is always going to go wrong. If I actually get this thing, it's going to go wrong. Something bad's going to happen. So you're being reminded here that part of the work is trying to understand why you block the blessing or the experience, the goal, the success from coming in. And again, I want to say this is really deep and probably on a very subconscious level, because we don't sit there and go, no, I don't want it. You know, somebody brings you the thing that you've been wanting and then you're like, oh, no, I don't want it. But our mind can go to the place of, I can't have this. I can't, this isn't real. This, everything, you know, these fundamental limiting beliefs, things like, well, when I do finally get this thing, it always goes wrong. Somebody always takes it from me. They find somebody better for the job. You know, the person goes, whatever it is. When you start getting near it or you feel it, there is perhaps an underlying core belief, and that needs to be healed. Now, the fact that this has come out with the counsellor, maybe you choose to work with somebody on this. Maybe you choose to speak to your friends about this, opening up. Maybe it's journaling if you prefer to do this work independently. But there is something that's coming up now where maybe you do get close to it and then you accidentally, inadvertently, subconsciously push it away or reject it. And again, we're going deep with these readings. I don't hold back. But this is a sensation that I'm getting, that it gets close or you start feeling it's near, and then you think, oh no, I can't have this. It's not going to happen because, and there is a story underneath it. And that is the story that really needs to be healed, revealed. So let's get some tarot cards for you. Nice. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. Sorry, the 8 of Pentacles. We've got the Moon, the Star. Wow, okay. And the 9 of Swords. I might get 1 or 2 more clarifiers. Yeah. You've been working really, really hard, working in times that are perhaps not validating you externally. There is a goal, dream, wish, something that you would really love to achieve, to see fulfilled. But the anxiety comes from this mental energy. And if you are drawn very much so into the mental energy, into the thought space, this can be incredibly powerful in its strength for visualization. It's not to say that we don't use that kind of intelligence in our mental energy. It's understanding that all of these experiences, so if you're very dominant in mental energy, for example, the polarity is it can be extremely positive in terms of visualization, strategy, thinking clearly, working out a plan. The anxiety can be that this leads you into spirals of negative thinking, anxiety, overthinking, overanalyzing. And so you've got this really powerful strength, but it can go to both extremes. And the joy is in finding the balance between them and recognizing when you're slipping to one end of those extremes or away from the energy that you wish to work with, whether that is maybe strategy, and then slipping into the polar opposite of that, which might be anxiety, powerlessness, learned helplessness, no control, you know, those sorts of things. Or wanting to have an answer strategy for every single eventuality. So you have been working on this. You have been really consciously creating, working, thinking, planning, doing, being. But this isn't all on you. You cannot control all of this. With the moon here, this is the hidden energy, that which you can't control, that which will come to be, working with universal energy, other people's free will and intention. Your goal here is to hold on to the dream, to the vision, working through this feeling of, but I can't have, or if I do get this dream, if this does come to be, something's going to go wrong. Somebody's going to take it from me. Somebody will block it. Somebody has that power. Somebody else will get it. No, that is not the work. The work is in trying to understand and calm some of these intense thoughts, the things that keep you awake at night, the things that make you doubt yourself, the struggle, the heaviness. We go back to the shadow work. This isn't something that necessarily we just one day get over and fix and heal. There can be many, many things that we have to work on, and you're just being reminded here that the not having is not evidence that you will never have. But right now, if you slip into a story of, well, it's never going to work, even when it comes to you, because it's never worked before, then you're just repeating and recycling an old story. And this really, I feel like this time, this eclipse really wants you to get you where you want to be. You know, your desire is the existence of possibility. If the universe is mental, we're getting to the laws of the universe here, but your desire exists because it can exist in another reality. We're getting into the quantum as well. So choose what it is that you need to work on right now. Try to track any limiting beliefs, any doubt, any fear, anything that comes up and asks you to pay attention to it. It's not coming up to punish you. It can be a very physical sensation in the body, like anxiety, like fear, and then going into somatic movement practices where you feel that energy, allow that energy to flow through you, or recognize what it's saying. Okay, I feel anxious because actually I never used to have without things being taken away. And that is something that I need to work on right now, is trusting that I can have and it's safe. You know, bring yourself back to that kind of pattern. And again, work with somebody to do this, whether that is a coach or somebody else, or a counselor. Yeah, you've got Mother of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Again, more mental energy. Work with somebody or seek some trusted guidance, somebody who's going to give you some no-nonsense advice, because those desires are there, they do exist, and they're not going to be blocked and hidden from you forever. But sometimes we do accidentally get in our own way. I've got a couple of oracle cards for you. Don't let pride get in your way. Interesting, because pride isn't a word or a feeling, excuse me, that would have come up for me. With this reading, with the energy that I'm feeling, maybe it is the pride in feeling too proud to ask for help. Or maybe because, you know, the last full moon was at the very end, was the very beginning of Virgo season, I think. The end of Leo season, which ends at the end of August. Maybe something happened through August which has really dented your pride. Maybe you feel too proud now to ask for help, to reach out, to find some guidance from somebody, or to reach out for clarification. Maybe this is the thing that knocked your pride. So I'm going to take that card laterally, because that is the feeling that I was getting from it. Let's get one of these. Protection. Interesting. I think this is reminding yourself that your dreams, goals and wishes are in fact protected. Because I was getting with this star, excuse me, sorry, something hasn't been communicated. My throat is like, give me a second, please. I don't even think that's fixed it. With this star, the energy came through, because, and I love this because I'm just noticing what to me looks like all of these little dandelion wishes. You know, as a dandelion fluff, seeds. As a child, we used to blow them. As an adult, I still like to sometimes, and make a wish. Your dreams are protected. I was getting that with this star. People can't take from you what is meant for you. If you're worried about somebody else having and you not having, comparing yourself to others, your dreams are protected. And with the robins, this is ancestral protection. You have a divine birthright here. We all do. There are certain goals, dreams, wishes, experiences that are our birthright. And you are being reminded that that is protected. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody can prevent that from happening unless you allow that story to be the dominant underlying energy that you experience. And again, I want to emphasize this can be very, very subconscious. So it's not to punish yourself in thinking that you were doing something wrong, but there is probably emotions, experiences really deep down, probably, you know, often this starts for us in childhood, that are the things, the work, the deep work that we need to do in overcoming, to understand why things haven't worked out before, because there is a story running the show, a limiting belief that is running the narrative that is taken over. We'll get one more card for you. Luminous, and look at that. It is the same moth, lunar moth here. The exact same. Look at those. So you've got luminous here. Just remember how brightly you can shine even in the dark. I'm going to go back to the message that I got at the beginning of this reading, which was about moths undergoing the exact same process as the butterfly, but receiving less credit for it. You need to stop. I'm sorry, I'm being firm now. You need to stop doubting yourself based upon other people's experiences, their paths, their journeys. What they have right now, you know, you do not know what comes further down the line on their path. You do not know what it took for them to get there, or what life has lined up for them. I mean, we don't wish anyone ill at all. But in terms of you thinking that you are not enough because you haven't got there yet, or your life looks different, or you haven't received what they have, or things haven't worked out, this is literally saying to you, you are shining regardless. You have been planted where you are. You've had the experiences you've had. You are exactly where you need to be. You're exactly on time. This is about you recognizing and not doubting based on that, based on this present moment, because things are unfolding for you in a way that they can only unfold for you, because only you have this specific experience, path, journey ahead of you, and you will get there. But you need to shine where you are and recognize your own light, strength, beauty and qualities where you are, and stop telling yourself that you are not going to have them based upon whatever the outer world is telling you right now. Keep focused on that vision. Do that deep work. And remember, most importantly, that your dreams and visions, your goals are protected. Part number 1, I'm going to leave this here for you. This is a reminder that I do offer personal readings if that's something that you were interested in. But thank you for being here and spending this time with me. I love and appreciate you, and I truly wish you all the best moving forwards. I will see you in another reading. Take care. Either pile number 2. Well, this has been an interesting little exploration in between these piles, just using some purification oil. I'm getting immediately from this pile, it started off with an inner message that then led to one thing or another that distracted me for about 15 minutes between reading these piles, which was a much needed break, I think, between the energies. Now, water. Whether you need to drink more water, connect to a sacred body of water, a place where you have been that is a sacred body of water. There is something about water that is very, very important to you, to your experience at this time, and is going to help you to move forwards. Now, that could be on a very physical level, just drinking more water. It could be on a healing spiritual level, whether that's going to a sacred body of water or immersing yourself in water of some kind in a sacred way. So, interestingly, because, I mean, it's not necessarily something I would associate with amethyst, but I feel this sense of purification, of cleansing, of clearing out, of clearing away some karmic debris, something that has been getting in your way. And this feels as much like, you know, this needs to happen. There is a strategy here. There is something that you've been delaying or putting off. And or you know, very much that you know you should be doing it, but you haven't been doing it. And this is just a reminder now that it's like, do the thing. Let's do this. Let's start at the beginning. Water yourself. There you go. Nurture yourself. Allow yourself to grow. And of course, amethyst is psychic protection. Also, very, very, before I get into the cards, can increase your intuition enhance your perception and your psychic energy. So for some of you, that might be very, very necessary. And again, working with water, as water is an excellent conductor, can be quite similar. So maybe the combination of amethyst and water, always check your crystals before putting them in water. Some crystals do not work very well in water at all. They can actually be very damaged. So check the crystals you want to work with. But I'm just saying, as we're working with amethyst here, maybe that's important. Okay, we've got whale, resonance, interesting. The weasel and pine, introspection. Release the dark wound, let love live, and you are strong beyond measure. Well, this is interesting because we've got two cards here that are connected to water. I'm getting like tread carefully with this weasel. Tread carefully. There is something that you are overcoming. You might have been working on something for quite a long time. There is a part of you that maybe you feel has been closed off, shut down, does not feel awakened, alive, vibrant anymore. And what I'm getting is the waters of regeneration. Maybe immersing yourself in a body of sacred water, doing a cleansing bath of some kind. Just focusing on the type of water that you're drinking, or drinking water with intention, is going to be really, really helpful. Whale and resonance is very, very interesting because obviously whales speak through the way that they do. The word is escaping me, which is annoying me. You know, but it's like sonar, isn't it? So they send out the vibration and the other whales feel it, and that's how they communicate. You can hear it, but it also has a frequency that is amplified and travels through the water. So there really is this feeling of water helping to amplify what it is that you are working on. With introspection and release the dark wound, let love live, there is some real heavy self-doubt that you need or want to heal right now. Stepping into your power, which is entirely the theme of this reading, or the reason for this reading. Remembering how strong you are, but not having to be strong to protect yourself, knowing that you have the strength to overcome, that you have already survived so much. For some of you, if you look at the beautiful imagery on this card, you can see the bones, the skeleton. Maybe you've survived things that others wouldn't, or things that should have been far too much, whether that is a physical health issue or emotionally. This is about coming back to life, to your most vibrant energy. This is about coming back to yourself and really feeling like you again. Water is going to play a big part in that. But again, this is about strengthening your true perception, which might mean diminishing some past perception. But if you take this from, maybe you just want to decide, like, this is where I am today, and in this moment here today, I am declaring that I'm going to start again. Whatever it is that you're feeling, have been feeling, or you're working on, make that declaration to yourself and say, no, do you know what? I'm starting again from today. This is no longer going to hold me back. I'm no longer going to allow this to hold me back, to consume me, to take my life, to do the things that, to take from me the experiences that I want to have. This is where I begin again. I'm going to be reborn. I'm going to feel myself differently. This is really interesting. But that is where you step into yourself and really allow yourself to blossom and to grow. All right, do you know what? I was going to do the same thing. I was going to go with the Wild Unknown Tarot, but the Dreams of Gaia Tarot want first dibs. So we will honour that. Interestingly, I think it's going to be the same with all three readings today, which it isn't always with me with the tarot cards, but we'll get into it. Let's see what comes through. Okay, what needs to come through, please? I'm going to do what I did in pile 1 as well, actually. Be very, very clear. What needs to be revealed and what needs to be healed. What needs to be revealed, please? And yes. We had the same thing with pile 1, just lots of cards. What needs to be healed, please? Okay, and I apologise if you can hear music. My neighbours have just put some music on. It's out of my control, but that's life, right? Okay. So on the bottom of the deck, we've got the 7 of Fire in the reverse. And for me, this card is all about clarity, focus, having your sights on what it is that you want and want to achieve. The fact that this is in the reverse, perhaps you have felt blocked for a very long time from your own inner fire, from your drive, from your motivation, from your passion, from your spark. So what needs to be revealed? We've got the 10 of Water in the reverse. We've got the Father in the reverse. We've got integrity in the reverse. And the Queen of Fire in reverse. Yeah. To be true to yourself has been... Let's figure this out for a second. Okay, so there could have been a masculine energy in your life, or this could be your own masculine energy that doubts your ability to do something. You haven't seen this thing come together yet, but you have remained in your integrity, or you're being asked to remain in your integrity. I need to cover her with the crystal, I've just realised. Yeah, the algorithm will not like that. You're being asked to remain in your integrity. What I'm getting here is there is a goal, a dream, a vision, a passion, something that has not come to be yet. And I think you're being given a choice. And I think you could have been given, for a few different reasons, there could have been an easier way of doing what you wanted to do, but it might have meant settling. It might have meant putting up with things that actually you didn't want, don't want. It might have meant lowering your standards. It might have meant living as a version of yourself that you do not wish to be. All of that has been heavy. That self-doubt, maybe that the Father in the reverse is just the epitome of masculine energy that you haven't been able to tap into and access with the Queen of Fire in the reverse here, because you haven't felt worthy, you haven't felt good enough, or maybe you've just not felt like you can have or do or deserve to have it. And this could be from past baggage, from past experiences that actually really hurt you. With the integrity card here, you haven't settled for that which was less than what you deserved. And if you're in a place now where you've got the opportunity to have something, but it's less than what you wanted, or makes you feel less, or like you're settling, or isn't quite right, but it's better than nothing, this is your reminder, actually, that you deserve better. You're not here to settle. And yes, that brings with it a whole load of other emotions, experiences that need to be worked through. But it is worth it. And there is a reason for it. And here we have what is coming up to be healed. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the Ace of Air in the reverse, which is the Ace of Swords. And then we've got this 8 of Earth, which would be the 8 of Pentacles. What needs to be healed is that you don't see the value of the work that you've been doing. Whether this is your own personal work or whether this is the work that you've been putting into the world. If you've got a very specific goal, outcome, vision in mind, maybe you've been working hard for a long time and you don't see the benefit of that effort, of that work. This card is literally saying to you, like, yeah, you might not see it now, but that what needs healing is the fact that you doubt yourself, not the fact that you haven't seen results. Equally, there might be a better way of doing things, a different way of doing things. We are in a lot of Virgo energy, which asks us to find a plan, a strategy, a way forwards. So maybe there is something there to be looked at, to be revealed. But this self-doubt, this diminishing of yourself, making yourself less, accepting less. Maybe you have been accepting less or being willing to accept less because it was better than nothing. You know, tread carefully with yourself here, because the goal is not to make you feel bad or to berate yourself, but to really bring yourself back to life, back to living, really to bring yourself back to those waters of your own fountain and fill your own cup. This is what this is saying to me. Not that you are not enough, but that you have been settling for that which hasn't been enough or has been less than you deserved. And none of us want to think, oh great, this is more work, that's all I've got to do. No. It is maybe pulling energy back from pouring into something, a vessel that is cracked, and your life force has been draining away. So there might be situations, feelings, experiences that have been very, very draining. This is asking you to pull your energy back from that. That's what's coming to the surface, where you have been spinning yourself out, maybe on this masculine energy. Again, doesn't have to be a male. It can be anybody that has a very strong, dominant masculine energy, but it doesn't feel healthy. And this, again, could be your own masculine energy if you look at this differently, in terms of not physically putting yourself out there or not going after your dreams, goals and desires, because the little bit of what you had feels safer and more secure. So let's get some, we'll use the Wild Unknown Tarot. I love these cards, they're just so beautiful, the imagery around them. Ooh, I'll take it. Okay, and a couple more please, or one or two more. I love this. Okay, we've got the Emperor again and the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. I'm going to pop this here if it will stay. Let's get you first, seeing as you flipped out. Interesting. It was the Mother of Cups, which is the Queen of Cups. We'll cover you with this now. So we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, the Father of Wands. Interesting. We've got the World, and then we've got the Son of Wands, the Emperor, and the Hanged Man. Now, I'm not suggesting that we ever make changes to make somebody react differently. That is not the goal. That is a form of low-level manipulation in some ways. You need to make changes in your life for you and only you. And what that will do is change what you attract. It will change your experience. You've got the Son of Wands, the Emperor, and the Hanged Man. This immature, juvenile energy that was maybe focused on one thing. Maybe this was the energy that wasn't the complete fulfillment of whatever it was, whether this was a boss, somebody that was giving you the bare minimum when you knew you'd earned and deserved more. There is a big perception shift here that changes when you shift your energy. And what I see is you really restoring your own cup, because I said that, I was feeling it with this Ace of Cups and the Mother of Cups. This energy, you know, this Mother of Cups is the Queen of Cups, deeply empathic, deeply emotional, intuitive, and very, very much connected with the water. This is the emotional self. Water it connects to emotions in tarot. So there is this feeling of reconnecting with your own emotions, healing your own emotional experience, recognizing that our acceptance of less doesn't mean that's all we deserve. It means that we have been settling. We'll come back to the integrity card about what it is that you truly deserve. And then we have this Seven of Pentacles. So you have been growing, investing in something that actually might have been incredibly hard work. It could have been incredibly challenging and just taken an awful lot out of you just to sustain, just to continue, just to carry on. This could have been very draining and depleting, and you might have come to a point now where and this could have been going on for years. This could be cyclical. It could happen in patterns or habits with relationships or work. This could be years of you doing this. this Father of Wands comes along, and this is an energy that strikes within you with this lightning strike that breaks the cycle. This could be happening now. It could have been happening between the eclipses. And this feels like an energy of you going in, you know what? No, I am so done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this again. I don't want this. I realize that I have settled for so little, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm not looking after your needs ahead of my own anymore. I'm not chasing your dreams and being your cheerleader instead of my own anymore. That energy, that fire is going back on me. And that is where we write this energy. This is where we write this energy and pull the focus back on to self. And that can be really uncomfortable if you are somebody that maybe has given more to others in relationship, or likes to give thinking that that will get your needs met. But often, and I know this is difficult again, it is the focusing on our own needs, filling our own cup, that then reflects back our worth to those around us. And this isn't done intentionally. Like I said, it's not done as a, I'm showing you what I'm worth, so you give that back to me. That we don't change to get something out of other people. We change to shift our baseline, which in turn shifts what we accept, which in turn means that the people that offer us little will either fall away completely or will rise up to offer more. And you won't accept the less anymore. That is the crucial shift. So this is the end of a difficult cycle. The renewal of your emotional energy, of your strength, of your life force, because you are not accepting what is no longer fulfilling or nurturing, or doesn't offer you as much as you have been giving, or no longer feels like pursuing your dreams. This clarity might come out of nowhere. It could be more like a dawning sunset that sort of all of a sudden reaches peak intensity, and you actually might feel quite angry, and you're being asked to not enact that anger outwardly, but use it as a catalyst to change your life, to shift that baseline from breadcrumbs, bare minimum, the worst opportunities or the worst jobs in your career, to no, I'm not accepting that anymore. You're either going to offer me here what I'm worthy of and I deserve as my baseline minimum. I will take more than that for sure. But you try and offer me down here? No, I'm not gonna put up with that anymore. That's not happening. This is a really empowered energy, but it comes from reconnecting with your emotional self, and it is going to shift that baseline and what other people perceive of you. It might mean that because we've got the Emperor twice here, maybe that person will step into a different energy. By the point you've raised your baseline, you might not even want them anymore, because you realize that what they offered before was so minimal. That comes with a sting on the other side of healing. And this is just asking you to do this for you and not for anyone else. I love this though. I love this power that you're going to be restoring, okay? You're going to be restoring your own power. And that isn't aggression, hostility, bad bitch energy. It's following your dreams, your passions, your goals, reconnecting with your heart and recognizing if you have so much love to give, that needs to be given in the right places, or you will just drain and deplete yourself. It doesn't mean being cruel. You can be kind, but recognize when your kindness is being abused. We've got communication is key, new moon in Gemini, believe in the impossible with the blue moon. I think this is self-communication. Believing in the impossible is if you've been settling for the minimum, for less, for a long time. This is saying, okay, you're going to have to really dig deep and learn what it is that you want that is more than what you've ever had maybe. You might never have had the level at which you deserve or what you want. So that can feel impossible, but you need to shift and really be your own guardian, your own emperor, and say, no, I'm not having that. And that self-protection, when it comes from an empowered way, is what shifts the baseline. And it's sometimes we don't know exactly what we want, we just know what we don't want. And that has to become the baseline. And you will incrementally increase and grow and recognize when something really feels good and something just feels like it's pulling you back to that past energy of, oh no, this doesn't feel good at all. I don't like this. Okay, you've got 2 of those as well. You're getting 2 of everything today. You've got earth and authentic. Yes. So even though we've had all of this water energy, this earth energy is calling you to ground, to really get to know yourself, your authentic self, your actual needs, you know, in your career, in your interpersonal relationships, your friendships, from your life, from your boss, from your lover, from your potential husband, even if you're already in a relationship. If something hasn't been working, then it needs to be communicated. That doesn't have to be done with hostility. It can come from a loving and empowered way, especially if you've been feeling drained and depleted, but you need to understand that first, to understand what it is that has been missing, to understand what it is that you need so that that can be communicated. This is a process. This isn't an overnight immediate answer or fix. This is about you learning what it is that you need so that your life is the life that you want. You see, I told you get 2 of everything today. And pile number 1 didn't get 2 of everything. They got 1 of each of the oracle cards. You got 2 of everything, which is, you know, maybe your blessings are going to be double simply because you've given yourself those boundaries, that fatherly like energy that says, no, you deserve more than this. Don't accept or settle for it. With intrigue and calm, I think the most important messages to end this reading on are, this doesn't have to be frenetic, crazy change, cutting people out. It can be the exploration of what feels good and what does not. It can be slowly putting yourself out in a different way and seeing how it feels, calmly, in a way that is considerate, in a way that can be measured so that you can get the data that you need in order to understand how it feels in your body, to understand the experience, to understand actually, well, this was really good, but it's not quite right. So I'm going to explore with this intrigue something that is slightly different. Maybe this is completely new for you, but within that is a level of excitement, and you don't have to rush with calm. It can be done at your pace. This eclipse was the catalyst to make you realize where maybe you've been settling for less. And so now you have the opportunity to gently redefine those boundaries and open up to different things in a way that you want to and that feels good for you. Because this is about you growing and fulfilling your deepest truth and receiving back all the love that you have to give here with this 10 of air in the reverse. It's such a beautiful card. You know, this is recognizing everything that is beautiful and true about you and you seeing it within you, not expecting or hoping somebody else sees it within you. So pile number 2, I'm going to leave this here for you. I truly hope you enjoyed this reading. As ever, I do offer personal readings. If you'd ever like one, please feel free to have a look at the information in the description box below. I'm sending you all my love. You take care, and I will speak to you again really, really soon. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you were drawn to the beautiful rose quartz today, then this is your reading. Now, it's interesting. I feel the energy shift between each of the piles, between pile 1 and 2. I really had to have a good break because there was lots of just things that happened. With this, I'm feeling like there is so much self-doubt or criticism that has been really weighing heavy on you for some time. And there is this sense of, you know, at some point it's time to open and trust again. At some point it's time to believe again. to overcome the shadow that has been weighing down, that's felt difficult, challenging, that's felt too much. You know, this is a moment in life right now where, yes, things are hard, things have been painful, but you're being asked maybe to do what feels like impossible to you, but it's to open and to feel. And through that feeling comes the healing that you have been almost craving or searching for. But it can't come from chasing away the difficult or for the painful. It really comes when you open and allow yourself to feel again. And after that comes so much beauty and expression, so much reciprocation, love and abundance just begins to come back now. But it comes from overcoming, from fully feeling again through a challenging experience. Let's see what we got for you. We've got Ferret, Royalty, interesting. The Marten and Foxglove, okay. We've had 3 little creatures like this. I think we had a weasel on the previous one. So now you've got a ferret and a marten. Mischief, releasing allegiances against the grain. Take your first step. Okay. Pile 3, we're not messing here today, are we? We never are with pile 3. Pile 3 is always my pile that feels like they've been on their journey for a very, very long time and very self-aware often. But guys, I'm really feeling the self-criticism here. Why are you I'm sorry, it's pulling it out of me. Why are you carrying the weight of everybody else's actions towards you? You know, there is stuff here. You met somebody that you thought was an equal, and they have maybe treated you in a way that looked like the perfect thing, but actually it was quite toxic, because foxgloves are quite toxic. They're beautiful, alluring, they're very different, but they are toxic fundamentally. And this has made you doubt yourself, has made you doubt your worth, your value. You have, and this doesn't have to be romantic, I want to make that very clear. It could be an organization, something that you have believed in. Maybe it is just a belief, a group, a movement, a circle of friends, people that you're around, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is not for me anymore. This is now making me feel like a diminished version of myself. This can also be nothing to do with anybody else, but just the deep ingrained patterns that you're holding. But I really am sensing there was some sort of external influence, whether this is just social media or whatever, that is influencing how you feel. It could be anything on that spectrum, from just self and thoughts all the way up to close, intimate relationship or partner that has made you feel this way, everything in between. This is a time where it might feel like there is an awful lot that is slipping away, that has fallen away. And in fact, you might take a look and you won't even recognize yourself. It may feel like you are being pulled in a direction that is not like everybody else's. And maybe that makes you feel this sense of doubt, this sense of, I'm doing this wrong. My life is wrong. I am wrong. This is not working out. But you are going against the grain for a reason. Your journey doesn't look like everybody else's. It is not worth staying in something that makes you feel bad or diminishes your value just because at one point you were in allegiance to it. Sometimes those allegiances, those bonds, those agreements that we've made become like toxic shackles. Everything can look right on the surface, but deep down we know it's not right for us. There is something here that is, you are asking to free yourself from, but not in a painful or difficult way. Bear with me a second. Sorry about that, guys. My phone, my doorbell went. Sometimes we're interrupted by life, and sometimes it is what needs to leave that opens the doors. with this against the grain, you know, she's swimming away. With the releasing allegiances, she's holding on to herself. I really and truly feel like perhaps, and I might need to cover those two cards. I might just have to, is that going to work? No. Just so we don't upset the algorithm. I'll cover them with another card in a minute. It's fine. Maybe, just maybe. There we go. I'm happy with that. Releasing this, letting this go, letting this clear is the beginning of a brand new chapter, and it doesn't feel like it. It could be a really painful ending. It could be asking you to do something that you never thought you were going to do. But that first step is a brand new beginning. Even if it means leaving something that is comfortable, even if that comfortable has become toxic. A lot of us will stay in something that is comfortable for a long time rather than walking the path of the unseen. So let's get into your cards. We're going to go with the Dreams of Gaia. There's been a very, very specific way that these cards have wanted to be used today. So we're going to ask the Dreams of Gaia what it is that we need, that is being revealed, and what it is that needs to be healed. Okay, so what is it that needs to be revealed? Please for pile number 3. And apologies if I called you pile number 2. Yeah. Interesting. You might feel drawn to pile number 2. It's a different reading entirely, but there might be messages in there for you as well. And we're going to have to cover you as well, aren't we, sweet? What needs to be revealed? What needs to be healed? Whoa. Oh, I love it when the energy gets like this. Let's shift these over. We're going to put this here. Okay. It feels like if you were around people, why is this phrase coming through? And it's just like a big bun fight. Now, this is a very English thing that my mum used to say. You don't want to get yourself, I'm guessing from this, with integrity. You don't want to get yourself involved in things that just feel like drama, chaos, conflict, people arguing. You don't want that. That is not in your integrity. It's not the way that you want to do things. If this is walking away from something, you do not want to do that with a fight. You recognize the value. If this is the end of a relationship, perhaps, for example, you recognize the value that it has brought you. But also, you are seeing that whatever is, there is this space between the conflict, the fight, the fire that feels like two sides set against each other, and recognizing that you don't want that there is a peace and a gentleness and a coming together that is collaborative, that feels more like home, that feels more destined. And at this stage, it might not be that there are specific places, people, things, groups, organizations that you want to pull away from. It could be more sensation-based. What makes me feel angry or anxious or afraid compared to what makes me feel nurtured, respected, and cherished? What feels right? So what's being revealed is where actually you haven't been honest with yourself or haven't acted within your integrity. And that is not criticism. That integrity is this energetic integrity where you might not felt in alignment with what it is that you want, because what we've got being healed here is the perception and this 10 of fire, which is you being fully aligned with your own energy and actually how you were going to direct that into the world. And this comes from perception. So This could definitely be in the mental space. Thoughts, things that you were taking in and consuming at a mental level. And I'm bringing it back again to like social media, groups, organizations, some sort of mission or something that has felt right for a time and then all of a sudden feels very wrong. Again, this could be your friends, whatever it is, you are now ready to see things in a different way. Maybe you see how it's holding you back or has held you back. And in the process of recognizing that, of healing that, you are lighting yourself up again. You are bringing yourself back to full strength, to full power, understanding that you might need to stop taking this poison, this toxic energy, to allow yourself to experience the love, to feel, to heal, to open again, to learn how to direct your energy and to give it to people, places and situations that actually are going to return it, that aren't going to. And this is where it kind of crosses into the pile 2 territory. If this is specific, it's where you've been maybe giving to others and feeling depleted and drained. But this feels more like you realigning yourself with where you want to go, with what it is that you want to do. Interestingly, a few things that have come up this week have been, you're the product of the 6 people that you spend the most time with. So who have you been spending time with? Whose influence have you been allowing to dominate your own? Are these people's thoughts, negativity, their own beliefs, their own challenges, have they become your own, internalized? Or have you allowed their view of life to become the limitation, even through a throwaway statement? Oh, you're never going to be able to do that because of how the economy is. You say it was starting a new business or a job or something. You'll never be able to do that right now because of the economy. Like, think again. That can be incredibly limiting. That can change our perception, change the way we live our lives. And in so doing, we diminish ourselves. We start taking this toxic energy and internalize it, and it prevents us from starting these new beginnings. And you see, there's a multitude of different ways that this can manifest. But ultimately, it feels like a limited version of who you wanted to be or who you are is now being released in favor of something that you can do that is far, I don't want to say superior, but greater. It's like the next elevation of you, what you have to offer in your integrity. Let's get some more cards for you. We'll get the bottom of the deck as well. Okay, interesting. Now, I only shuffle these cards in the upright, and this one's in the reverse, and I'm going to take it. Because to me, when this happens, you could see it as an accident. It probably is an accident, but it does have a message, even as an accident. That is part of life, right? The Nine of Cups in the reverse is saying that maybe you don't feel good enough or worthy enough, or maybe you've been stuck in situations that have made you feel unworthy. We've got the Five of Pentacles here, the Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. You're moving away from what has made you feel less than. I'm just going to keep saying it. It keeps coming out the same. You have felt inferior. You have felt like you have had to hold on to what is left of your fire just to survive. And you're being told now that that is not enough. I've just realised that this 9 has come out in the reverse as well. I'm going to have to go through and make it. Yeah. No, that's my fault. It's my fault. I flipped this deck as I've been shuffling it, and I don't normally do that. So we're just going to have to take that as a message. Maybe that my mistake there, that out of character change might bring us the messages that we need. And maybe that is the against the grain, maybe stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something by accident, doing something that is different to your normal routine is what shifts your perception. If normally you would just engage with a fight with somebody actually saying, no, do you know what, I accept and love you as you are, but I'm stepping away. Or, you guys are great, but I'm sorry, I can't be involved in this right now. You know, done in a way that is loving. Because what I see here is that you have felt isolated, cut off, and like you have just been being drained for some time. And it has taken all of your fight to keep your inner fire lit. You have really fought to keep that one flame going. But it's come at a price of conflict, at a price of having to keep going, to push harder and feel that challenge, the struggle is the word I'm looking for. You have carried this struggle and just managed to keep yourself aflame. And it's made you feel like you cannot have, or you do not deserve, with a 9 of Pentacles and Cups in the reverse. And I want to assure you that this isn't the case. This isn't the case. This isn't the end of your story either. Walking away from this thing is not the end of your story. It's shifting your alignment. It's shifting your allegiance. It's realizing that you need to choose you and your dreams instead of somebody else's that you've outgrown. This is difficult energy. And it can manifest in so many different ways. Like I said, it can be outdated thoughts, feelings and beliefs that you've carried for a very long time, but you realize now just aren't for you. And this is asking you to be very strong and very brave, and to claim this sword of truth that you hold within you in your integrity, and choose you. And choose a fresh beginning. I want to get a couple of... Pile 1 and 2 didn't get these, but I feel like we need a couple of Mystic Unicorns. Yeah. It's not worth having if it triggers you, if it makes your nervous system imbalanced. It's not worth having. It's not worth taking the poison, because it's better than nothing. Even if it's just a little bit of toxicity once in a while, you've outgrown it. You've shifted past it. You are not going to let people just drain your energy or use you in a parasitic way anymore. You know, this is about you saying, yeah, I see everything that's going on here. I don't want it. I don't want to be in the battle, in the conflict, in the rage, in the fight. I don't want it. I'm not living this way anymore. There's too many. I'll take them very, very quickly. Got the 6 of Cups in the reverse, the Devil, the Lovers in the reverse, the 5 of Wands in the reverse, the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. Very, very simply, yes. Toxic energy that you might have felt that you had to have. It could have been a lover, but again, friendships, things that you cared about, choices that you made to be in a devil-like energy, to be around toxicity. You don't have to. Just because that happened in the past doesn't mean that you have to have it again. Your victory comes when you say, no, I'm not dealing with that fight anymore. You've got the 5 of Fire, 5 of Wands twice. You don't want the fight. You don't want to be involved in something that harms you. You were choosing to walk away, and that's your victory. Sometimes the victory is just in walking away. No idea what comes now. That is just the first step. But it is better than being stuck in this devil-like energy, this toxicity that does not make you feel good in any way. Let's get you some oracle cards. So there's some tough love, pile 3. Please know that I love you, and I mean this with every kindness. And not every message might be for you. This message might be for one person out there. A fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries. Okay, yeah. Let's just stick with what we're doing here. This fiery climax, this potential ending, it might have already happened. It might be something that you have felt coming for some time. It could be the inner fire here. You don't have to go and have a fight with somebody, or argue, or prove your worth, or tell them, I deserve so much more than this. You've done this, you've done that. No, sometimes that fiery climax is the rising fire within you that you have just about kept lit, going, no, I'm not settling for this anymore. And it is something that rises within you, that triggers you to make this end, that says to you, no, that is the line. That is the line that has been crossed. I am drawn it and I am going. Sometimes it is that, and it doesn't have to be aimed at other people. It can just be you making a decision. It's just what tips the balance. So you make the decision, you make the change, you make the choice, you do the thing. Oh, and I feel that Aries energy. Honestly, that's like, it's really like empowered. It might make you feel very, very angry. And there is a reminder here that in spiritual circles especially, anger is seen as something that needs to be cut off, hidden, avoided. But anger is one of those sacred tools that guides you away from settling for less, from being in something toxic with the devil, from being around people, places, things that are actually harming you. It doesn't mean that we have to direct our anger at anyone else. It needs to rise up so we can go, no, enough, done. That was the line. My anger shows me where my boundary has been crossed. It is up to me how I deal with that and how I reinforce my boundary. No one else. That's how anger can be sacred. Interestingly, this came out for pile 2 as well. So authentic. This is about you being authentic with you and releasing these ties, people's experiences that are no longer authentic to you, or you no longer feel are part of your life. You know, maybe you don't want it anymore. Guardedness, yes. Okay, let's get the second. Curiosity, okay. There could be this desire to want to go out and try and experience this curiosity of what is actually out there, but also the fear of what is out there. And the thing is, there is no guarantee that life is going to be just plain sailing. There is no guarantee that something is going to work out or your experience with somebody is only going to be positive. Sometimes the only way that we understand and trust again and open again is by being curious. But it comes with this self-protection that crosses, you know, we're back here, aren't we? In this beautiful opening of the heart chakra. We cannot be fully closed off. But those boundaries are our protection. If we're open, if we feel very deeply, that's amazing. So how do our boundaries protect this? Not close people off, not stuck inside this, you know, spiked wall that keeps everyone and everything out. How do we give ourselves boundaries as self-protection whilst, sorry, there's a lot of noise outside. While do we give ourselves boundaries of self-protection? How? What boundaries do you need to feel safe enough to try something new, to put yourself in a new situation? And again, you really might be feeling drawn to pile 2. If the boundaries are speaking to you, I would go and watch pile 2. But this is about being open to feel, to heal, to express, but in a way that you understand, okay, now that's my limit, that's too much, that's not what I want, or this doesn't feel good to me. So that you can still be curious and explore the new. Because walking away from things can be really difficult and really challenging and can trigger a lot of loneliness or fear and anticipation of loneliness if we are no longer doing things that kept other people happy but diminished ourselves in some way. So this being authentic to you is saying, okay, then I'm going to be curious, but I need to know my boundaries so that I can also keep myself safe and love and honour myself. And remember that sometimes those accidents, those mistakes are the thing that give you the answers that you need, even if at the time they don't. We see them as mistakes or things that went wrong. So trust the process sometimes, because it is how things are meant to be and not exactly as we would have wanted. I'm going to leave this here for you. Pile number 3, I hope this assisted you. Just sending you all my love. As always, I do offer personal readings. All of the information is in the description box. But I love you. I hope this heals for you, and I hope that you are well. And I will see you again in another reading very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.